If you've ever sat in a room full of people and felt completely invisible, not because no one noticed you, but because you made sure they didn't, you already know what this is about. Shy people don't just stay quiet. They watch. They process. They notice things that louder people walk right past. And most of the time, they understand the room better than anyone in it. But understanding something and feeling safe enough to speak inside it, those are two very different things. This isn't a story about confidence. It's about what shyness actually is, underneath the silence. Most people assume shyness is about fear. Fear of people, fear of judgment, fear of saying the wrong thing. And on the surface, that looks accurate. But the psychology underneath it is more precise than that. Shy people aren't afraid of people. They're afraid of exposure. There's a difference. Someone who fears people avoids them entirely. But a shy person can love people deeply. They just need to feel safe before they let anyone see them. Because somewhere along the way, they learned that being seen has a cost. That speaking up means being evaluated. That taking up space means risking something. And that lesson didn't come from nowhere. For most shy people, the pattern started early. Maybe they were in environments where their words were dismissed, or corrected, or turned into something embarrassing. Maybe they were the kind of child who felt things deeply and realized that not everyone around them operated the same way. So they learned to go inward, to observe rather than participate, to think 3 times before speaking once. That's not shyness as a flaw, that's shyness as an adaptation. Here's where it gets interesting. Shyness and introversion are often treated as the same thing, but they're not. An introvert prefers less social stimulation. It's about energy. Shyness is something different. It's closer to anxiety mixed with a deep desire for connection. And that combination is quietly painful because the shy person often wants to speak. They want to join the conversation. They have thoughts forming, words ready, but something stalls between the thought and the action. Psychologists call this self-monitoring, the internal process of predicting how others will respond before you say anything. Most people do this to some degree, but in shy individuals, this process is amplified. They're running rapid risk assessments in real time. If I say this, how will it land? If I laugh too loud, will someone look? If I give the wrong answer, will I be remembered as the person who got it wrong? It's exhausting, and it's invisible to everyone watching. What looks like someone being quiet is actually someone being extremely active, just entirely on the inside. But here's what most people miss entirely. Shyness isn't really about other people. It's about the story a person carries about themselves in relation to others. And that story usually sounds something like, I'm not quite enough to take up space here. Not dramatic, not loud, just a quiet, persistent belief that they need to earn their place in a room before they can feel comfortable in it, that their presence needs to be justified somehow. And so, the behaviors follow from that belief, almost automatically. Staying on the edges of conversations, over-preparing before speaking in a meeting, replaying something said hours later, wondering if it came out wrong, feeling relief when plans get canceled, even when they genuinely wanted to go. None of it is random. It's all the same pattern, just wearing different clothes. And the pattern is this: safety before visibility. The shy person is always, on some level, waiting to feel safe enough to be seen. What shyness really is, at its core, is a nervous system that learned to prioritize protection over participation, not because something was wrong with the person, but because at some point, protection was the smarter choice. The quiet ones in the room often carry the most complex inner worlds. They've built entire landscapes inside themselves because the outside didn't always feel like a safe place to exist openly. And that depth, that richness, it doesn't disappear just because someone can't see it. It just waits. Once you understand shyness this way, not as a flaw, not as a lack of confidence, but as a deeply logical response to early experience, it stops looking like something that needs to be fixed. It starts looking like something that makes complete sense. And that awareness alone changes how you see yourself in a room. It was never about being too quiet. It was always about learning when it finally felt safe enough to speak.